So Kirk Cousins, Vikings quarterback, slayer of the Saints in the Dome last season. Don't want to talk about it. Kirk Cousins was on a show with Kyle Brandt, former Jim Rome producer. Big fan of Kyle Brandt, by the way. And he talked about the coronavirus. And he said he's taking a survival of the fittest personal approach, even if it kills him. If I die, I die. Taking a playbook out of Ivan Drago, his playbook. Or taking a page out of his playbook. Please delete the VOD. Let's see. He indicated during the interview that he does not believe face masks work in helping to prevent the spread of COVID, but he repeatedly said he has also tried to respect others' concerns about the virus and wears the masks. Let's see. Masks are stupid. You're all a bunch of lemmings. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to call anybody stupid for the trouble it would get me, but I'm about a 0.0000001%. This is a direct quote from Kirk Cousins. I want to respect what other people's concerns are. For me personally, just talking, no one else can get the virus. What is your concern if you could get it? I would say I'm going to go about my daily life. If I get it, I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to let nature do its course. Survival of the fittest kind of approach. And just say if it knocks me out, it knocks me out. I'm going to be okay. You know, even if I die, I die. I kind of have peace about that. Jesus, Kirk, relax, dude. Just relax, man. Damn. My God. But this is an interesting... So people have been talking about this obviously today because he brings up a lot of really interesting points, even though he's doing it in a very Kirk Cousins way, which is, usually a complete mess. But so the first thing that I think is interesting is that even though he is obviously not concerned about the virus at all, he is still respecting other people and wearing the mask, which I think is probably the most appropriate criticism I've heard. If you don't respect the virus, or if you're not worried about the virus, that's absolutely fine and absolutely your opinion. But respecting other people who possibly could be concerned about the virus, you never know what they have going on, I think is really, really a good sign from Kirk Cousins and something that a lot of people should practice. We constantly see people who are not only anti the virus, or I guess like virus truthers or whatever, but they are going out of their way to abuse, harass, whatever, people who do believe in the virus. So I think Kirk Cousins is showing the appropriate way to, not the appropriate way to disagree about the virus. Now, obviously, the other part of this is his comments about if I die, I die, and all that. This is something that I think is way more common in people than like how the media will make this seem. So with food allergies, I know a lot of people believe in kind of a Darwinism approach where we could theoretically wipe out food allergies by not treating them. Basically just letting nature run its course. Now, obviously, some people may die. Some people may have bad enough food allergies or a bad enough situation where they may die. And the survival of the fittest Darwinism mindset is, well, if that's the case, that's the case. But those food allergies will not get passed on. And then in a few generations or whatever, food allergies will just go away. And I know Joe Rogan has mentioned this a few times about peanut allergies, and that peanut allergies aren't a real thing or aren't a real threat because we can wipe them out at any time. And that's kind of his mentality on that. So I think this, if I die, I die, survival of the fittest, Darwinism, it is what it is. I think that's a pretty common mentality to a lot of things. I mean, I know people who do that, just even like smoking cigars or cigarettes. They'll say that. They'll say, well, I mean, if I get cancer, I get cancer. Like, it is what it is. And that's something they can actively control. This is a virus. But, I mean, there's a lot of people that I know who, when they are asked about why they smoke a pipe or why they smoke cigars or why they drink alcohol or whatever, their attitude is pretty flippant and pretty much like, hey, I'm just going to kind of live my life. And if I have to go through something, I'll go through it. I would not say I'm a Kirk Cousins stan by any means. I certainly don't think he should be one of the highest paid quarterbacks of all time. I obviously don't will never forgive him for what he did in the Superdome last year. But I think this is a pretty respectable way to look at it. I mean, as we've talked about on thousands of podcasts and videos and streams and whatever, I'm pretty strict when it comes to quarantining and wearing a mask and all that stuff, and I think it's totally fine. I have no issue with it whatsoever, but this is probably the best counter I've heard, the best approach to the other side, the approach of, I personally don't agree, but I will respect other people, and if I do get it, I'm not too worried about it. And for Kirk Cousins, a super high tier athlete who's probably about as healthy as you can get, if he's looking at those numbers and he's saying the chances of me getting this disease and it being life-threatening are incredibly low, so if I'm going to get taken out by a 0.0002% chance, then c'est la vie. Same thing as if I get hit by lightning or something, So you're going to see a lot of the media jump on this, and you're going to see a lot of the media jump on this negatively. But I honestly think this is pretty respectful and pretty appropriate. But the chances of spreading are high. True, but not if he's taking precautions. He said, I'm going to take precautions. He's wearing a mask. He's doing his part, even if he doesn't believe in it. So, yeah, I mean, I think he, it's one of those things where I think he realizes that, hey, I don't want to give it to anybody. I don't want to spread it. If I get it, I get it. But it is what it is. And I think this is a great way to look at it if you are on that side. I'm not saying it's the right way to look at it, but I'm saying if you do disagree with the virus or you do think it's overplayed or whatever, this is much more appropriate than the people we see screaming at each other, flipping over tables, giving people the middle finger, all that stuff. So all in all, I'd give a lot of kudos to Kirk Cousins for this, to be honest. I mean, it kind of starts, you could easily take this the wrong way. You could easily take this and be like, oh, Kirk Cousins is an alpha male badass saying survival of the fittest. If I die, I die. But it's really not like that. It's really almost the complete opposite, where he's like removing himself from the situation. He's removing his personal involvement into the situation and saying that he's basically a number and he's basically just a player in this whole thing. So I'm pretty impressed, to be honest. And especially since this is just kind of like an impromptu interview. This is like a 10 questions kind of show with Kyle Brandt. It's not like this is a press release, So for Kirk Cousins to just do this on the fly. I mean, if you're talking about, so it says level of concern. 1 being masks are stupid, you're all a bunch of lemmings. And Kirk is saying he's a 0.000001. So he's saying he's way more radical than masks are stupid, you're all a bunch of lemmings. But if he's this radical and he's still this respectful, it's a pretty interesting combination. Kirk Cousins is a bit of an enigma, and this just proves that. But pretty interesting. Pretty interesting indeed. That's why the bubble works. Keep all the young people away from older people. Yeah. I think the bubbles are great. I think the bubbles are the way to go for sure.